Only those that survive 3 harsh winters are qualified for export, and it is the harshness of nature that turns each Scottish oyster into a luxury dish, making any diner startled by their true value. Farming Scottish oysters is a 3-year journey that requires meticulous execution at every stage, combining traditional expertise and modern technology to ensure consistent quality. From the moment the young oysters are hung in the cold water, fishermen constantly monitor every environmental factor, from temperature, salinity, dissolved oxygen, to flow rate, because even the smallest change affects development. The oyster baskets are rotated and lifted periodically, helping to keep the shells clean, avoid mud deposits, and maximize contact with the mineral-rich water, creating conditions for the oysters to grow slowly but achieve standard meat quality. The sophisticated lifting net system not only protects oysters from current pressure and collisions, but also incorporates smart sensors and early warnings, allowing fishermen to immediately detect any changes in the environment, keeping each oyster growing in optimal conditions. Each batch of oysters is carefully monitored, down to the individual. Absolutely no chemicals are used, avoiding bacterial contamination and ensuring international food safety standards, turning them into a pure and reliable product. As the harsh winter sets in, only the strong and healthy survive, resulting in meat that is firmer, more flavorful, and more nutritious than any other season. After 36 months of patient care, the oysters reach the perfect size, with firm flesh, delicate sweet and fatty taste, and salty aftertaste, becoming a high-class seafood dish worth tens of dollars each. the crystallization of time, effort, and absolute favor of nature. Once the oysters reach maturity, the harvesting process is a meticulous performance where every step determines the final quality of the product. Fishermen often choose the moment of low tide, calm waves, when the water is crystal clear, to clearly see each basket of oysters clinging to the cold seabed. Before lifting the basket, they check the wind direction and flow rate, ensuring that the sediment is not stirred up and keeping the oysters from being affected by sudden changes in the environment. The basket is pulled up inch by inch, slowly and carefully, so as not to shock the oysters with pressure or change in temperature. And in the light reflected off the sea surface, each layer of oysters appears like tightly stacked, sparkling gems. Each oyster is opened by hand or with a specialized knife with a thin, rounded blade that skillfully fits into each shell crevice, leaving absolutely no damage, preserving the perfect beauty of this gift from the sea. Qualified individuals, even shells, perfect size, harmonious colors, are carefully placed in soft trays to avoid collisions, while those that do not meet the standards are released back into the sea to continue their journey to adulthood in cold water. Immediately after harvesting, oysters are dipped in purified seawater tanks, washing away every grain of sand and foreign matter, before being immediately transferred to a standard cold storage system, preserving the natural sweetness, fattiness, and salty aftertaste typical of the ocean. The process takes place in near total silence, with only the occasional sound of falling water and the gentle clanking of oyster shells audible. But behind it lies decades of experience, deft hands, and absolute respect for the sea's quintessential gift. Once harvested, Scottish oysters are shipped directly to state-of-the-art processing facilities where every behind-the-scenes step largely determines their value, flavor, and reputation. Here, the processing line combines skilled human hands and advanced control technology, ensuring each oyster is of perfect quality. Once in the factory, oysters are meticulously sorted by hand or by scanner according to size and shape, so that each batch achieves maximum uniformity and standard. The specialist checks each fish, observing its color, shell closure, and reaction to light touch. Only perfect individuals continue to the next stages. Qualified ones are washed in purified seawater, completely removing sand, mud, and impurities, retaining the original purity and natural flavor. The oysters are then placed in an optimal cold environment, which preserves flavor and nutrition while preventing bacterial growth, ensuring each one is perfect when it reaches the customer. Each oyster is carefully labeled with its origin, harvest date, size, and quality standards, then packaged in specialized material to protect the shell and maintain freshness during the long shipping journey. All these steps are aimed at preserving the purity and maximum value of the oysters, so that when served in luxury restaurants, they still retain the salty, fresh taste, as if they had just been scooped from the bottom of the sea. Scottish oysters are not simply a dish, but the crystallization of 3 years of patience, a rare marine environment, and the sophistication in each farming operation, turning each oyster into a work of art worth millions of dollars. In the international market, each oyster is hunted fiercely, from Michelin-starred restaurants in London to luxury parties in New York, with an average price of $20 each, and even higher for large individuals or those with special flavors. The costs of farming, preserving, transporting, and strictly adhering to conservation regulations add up, making Scottish oysters a symbol of luxury and scarcity, where each time you enjoy them, it is a luxurious experience but full of value. Despite their huge profits, Scottish oysters face formidable challenges. Climate-induced water changes, pollution from land and ships, and soaring demand are threatening the survival of wild populations. Therefore, fishermen and managers must set strict conservation standards, from limiting harvest quantities, adjusting stocking densities, to monitoring every element of the aquatic environment and biological health to keep the Scottish oyster industry not only alive, but also sustainable. Each oyster is not only a luxury food, but also a vivid symbol of natural balance. Without protection, the oyster industry would not only lose its economic value, but also disrupt the entire coastal ecosystem. The sophisticated combination of modern farming technology and strict conservation laws is the only way to ensure future generations can enjoy this delicacy without destroying the pristine beauty of the ocean. If you want to discover more untold secrets of the ocean, subscribe and turn on the bell. Each episode is a new journey, where amazing creatures tell their own stories and unlock memorable experiences. In five-star restaurants, oysters are considered the quintessential pearl of the sea, an ingredient that requires meticulous care from the selection stage to each processing stage, so that each oyster shines on the dining table. The freshest oysters are selected with strict standards. Only perfect individuals are allowed to enter the kitchen, preserving the original flavor, pure sweetness of the sea. The team of chefs apply skillful shell opening techniques, preserving the delicate shape and precious fresh juice inside before processing them using delicate methods, from preserving the original taste of the sea to harmoniously combining with premium ingredients. The 3-year journey from young oyster to premium product is a testament to the patience, meticulousness, and craftsmanship that turn each oyster into a living symbol of sustainability and harmony between humans and nature. Economic value, exquisite taste, and conservation efforts blend into a story of adventure, making each oyster a testament to human ingenuity, responsibility, and foresight.